All right, it is 2:34. We're going to go ahead and get started. Again, welcome. Thanks so much for joining us today for the first LEA School Safety and Security Director Information Session. There's a lot of information to share with you all, so love to have everyone in the room today. We are recording this, and after a few days, once the recording is available, it will be sent out through our listservs and on our website and on our YouTube playlist as well. So if you can't join us for all of it, know that the information is still accessible to you. Again, a welcome and brief introductions of the Utah School Safety Center. My name is Ashley Postello. I am the School Safety Center Specialist here at the Utah State Board of Education. Again, thank you for your role and your work and your time today. The School Safety Center is a statewide multidisciplinary team. So we also have Levi Grisenti, our school safety and security specialist, joining us back in February. He also is here at the Utah State Board of Education, along with Willie Chen, our school safety data analyst. Michelle Knight is on our prevention team, but also works on the School Safety Center, our threat and crisis response support specialist. And then we have our three liaisons from partnering organizations. Scott Ayer is from the Office of Substance Use and Mental Health as our school-based mental health specialist. Lieutenant Barnes is from the Department of Public Safety. He's our school safety liaison. And then our newest addition to the Utah School Safety Center is Marie Stephenson, and she comes to us from the Utah State Charter School Board. So all throughout today, you'll be hearing from these folks. So let us know if you have any questions. And then, of course, we are led by Rhett Larson, our School Safety Center Coordinator, and our Director, Chantel Coda, and Melissa, who is facilitating our Q&A, and all of the wonderful things she does to help us support the School Safety Center and our needs. A quick agenda for our info session today. So quite the list, lots of things to share with you. School Security Task Force updates, School Safety and Security Personnel Designation Form, that Qualtrics form you might recognize, the School Safety and Security Specialist Stipend Grant application, that with the Qualtrics form go hand in hand. The School Safety and Security Specialist Training Program, we have an overview of that for you today. School safety funding and School Safety Center newsletter updates, updates on the Utah School Safety Needs Assessment, application for alternatives and what that process looks like this year, some updates to R277400, School Safety and Security, that administrative rule out of the Utah State Board of Education, some professional training opportunities throughout our school year this year, and then finally resources and that Q&A. But for now, I'll turn it over to our director, Chantel Coda.
Thank you, Ashley. Well done. And welcome to everyone who is here today. Again, my name is Chantel Coda. I am the Director of School Safety and Student Services for the Utah State Board of Education. It's such a pleasure to have you here today and really appreciate you spending the time to be with us to learn and grow together. I wanted to just share a quick message of appreciation. I appreciate your time and your service to our Utah students and educators in the area of school safety. As many of you are aware, there have been several challenging events that have occurred both nationally and locally. And I know that these events have been impactful for you as they have been for us here at the School Safety Center. As dedicated personnel to school safety efforts, we know the toll that this can take on you and your schools. And I want you to know that the School Safety Center is here with you, supporting your efforts and ensuring that we have the latest information on these events and are working diligently to get resources to you to help you along the way. Every member of our team is here because of a commitment to keeping schools safe, and we recognize all of you really as an extension of that team. You are the boots on the ground, and you are the ones keeping the work going and keeping our students safe, and we want you to know how appreciated you are. I want to talk just a little bit about some of the key points for school safety collaboration. These points came up in a recent School Safety and Security Task Force meeting that is held with policymakers and other stakeholders in the realm of school safety. I share these with you because you are an important part of this discussion and want to make sure that you have the information that we are sharing out with policymakers, with leaders in the field, and also really with community members who have a vested interest in school safety. One of the first points that I covered in that meeting is centered around trust. Trust between interagency communication, interagency partnership. One of the things that I've learned in this past year and a half, maybe a little longer, as we have come across legislation on school safety that has required us to work with other agencies and to ensure that we have the right forms of communication and resources, is that there are multiple lenses that we can view school safety with. One of the lenses that we use at the Utah State Board of Education is through the lens of education. We want to be sure that all of our students are happy, healthy, and have access to the education they need to be successful adults in life and successful students while they are in the school system. Department of Public Safety has the opportunity to look at safety through the lens of building management, crisis management, responsiveness. And bringing those two conversations together, we've had a really positive opportunity to rethink what safety looks like in schools. And I hope that as you're working through some of those conversations, some of those partnerships with your local agencies, working with your county security chiefs, with your mental health facilities, and all of the resources that you have access to, that you are making a planned effort to build that level of transparency and trust and communication between those agencies. The next key point that we reviewed includes emergency operation plans. These plans are very important for ensuring that your team and your school is ready to go in the event of an emergency. All too often, I see these plans in binders, on desks, hidden away, dusty, haven't been taken out since the beginning of the year training. We want to ensure that these emergency plans are active, they are living, and they are practiced. We need to make sure that these protocols are up to date, that our contacts are up to date. We know how to access our first responders. We know how to access those that may help with our recovery plans. It is so important to build those relationships and contacts before an emergency happens so that you have ready access to what you need and what your students need. And lastly, we talked about building a culture of accountability and trust through consistent communication. So really, this kind of ties all 3 points together, ensuring that you are working with agencies that have your safety interests in mind and at heart, making sure that there is constant communication between the two and that your protocols are up to date and being practiced. Students should know exactly what to do in the event of an emergency. Teachers should know exactly what to do and what their role is in the event of an emergency. Administrative staff and all the way up to your level should know what to do should you have to step in and help with any of those incident command posts in the event of an emergency. So wanted to just impress upon those points today as you're listening to all of this training and information. I know being in the field of education, we are often called on to attend a lot of meetings. There is a lot of paperwork, and a lot of times we just really want to get down to being with our students, being with our staff. And as you're listening and going through the checklist of things that the School Safety Center is going to provide you today, I invite you just to kind of think through, how will this help me to build that trust between agencies? How will this help me to ensure that my contacts and protocols are up to date, that I've built a culture of accountability and trust through that communication, with the end goal being that we are keeping students and teachers safe in our state of Utah. Now I will turn it over to Willie Chen.
Thank you, Director Coda. I am Dr. Chen, and I'm School Safety Data Analyst. One of the things that just to keep in mind is that the School Safety and Security Personnel Designation Form is live and available through the Utah grants. LA School Safety and Security Directors are expected to submit this in part of the grant in order to receive reimbursement for the stipends. The form is due by October 15, 2025. And we provided an organizer template this year. Also, in addition, a little bit different is a copy of your submission will be needed to be submitted. Some LEAs may be experiencing some blockage of the copy, maybe due to the firewall settings in your LEA. So just double check your spam or your junk inbox and see if it went to there. Otherwise, please reach out to us and we can send you that copy of your submission in case you are having difficulty accessing that. So right now we have about half the LEAs who've submitted their designation forms. So it's great progress. You'll have till October 15th. Otherwise, I will hand over to Ashley Costello to talk about step 2.
Awesome. Thanks, Willie. Yes, as she mentioned, our school safety and security personnel designation form is that Qualtrics form, and that is embedded in the 26 SAST School Safety and Security Specialist Stipend Grant in the Utah Grants Management System. So once you get in that grant specifically underneath application links, or application attachments, it's called one of the two. We have provided 3 separate links for you. One being that Qualtrics form that is mandatory. Please click on that Qualtrics form, the designation form. That's where you share with us at the School Safety Center your school safety security director, the picture that we have to collect by law, and additional contact information, as well as all of the contacts of your specialists and their contact information for every school that you have. So that is the only required form. The other 2 links are the reimbursement template for future reimbursements, and also, as Willie mentioned, the organizer, which is an Excel spreadsheet that is optional. That was created with the intention of larger LEAs, maybe 50 plus schools that have a lot of specialist contact information to collect. We tried to mimic, copy, paste that Excel spreadsheet into Qualtrics, and so that was an easy transfer of information. If you're a smaller LEA and don't need it, please don't use it. Some of the things that I've been seeing as I've been going through and reviewing some of the submitted grant applications is that folks are attaching the organizer as opposed to, again, like Willie said, a copy of your Qualtrics submission form that should be automatically emailed to you upon that submission. So a reminder to submit the Qualtrics designation form, submit the Utah grants application, all due by October 15th, 2025. And then as a awareness piece, once that October 15th deadline comes, we take all of that contact information and create a master list of all of our specialists. We create a master list of all of our directors like you, and we will be creating our FY26 School Safety and Security Specialist email listserv. They will have a separate listserv this year, and then the directors will have their own separate email listserv as well. Anytime we email the specialists, we will also email the directors. However, we also know that there are some things and information that needs to go only to you all as directors. So we'll email you specifically and not send some of that information to the inbox of the specialists. That is also when they'll be receiving the Canvas invitations after that October 15th deadline. It is a brand new Canvas course. We'll go into details here in a bit, but know that any Canvas course invitations will not come after that October 15th deadline until we receive all of the contact information of our designated specialists. Just as a reminder, out of House Bill 335 back in 2024, this is for reimbursements. So it states here that one lump sum of the full reimbursement may not be paid out before those program duties have been completed. So for example, if you have a specialist for $3,000, submitting a reimbursement request before the end of their duties, our last training with them is scheduled for April 8th. So any reimbursement that is being asked in the full 3,000 amount before April 8th will simply be returned per House Bill 335. However, we are able to reimburse segments or pieces of that stipend. So maybe it's $1,500 after semester 1 and then $1,500 after semester 2. So please know and be aware of the outline and the expectations of reimbursement in regards to House Bill 335, the state grant process amendments. Speaking of their training program, these are the dates that we have on the calendar for their trainings that we will have live with them from the School Safety Center. So feel free to put these on your calendar as well. You are more than welcome to attend, however, you are not required. Please remember all of these will be recorded and they will be uploaded to our Canvas course as well as our YouTube playlist. So whenever the recordings are ready, we will have them out to the public, like I said, on that YouTube playlist, and then also housed in the Canvas course for easy access for our specialists and for you all. So that first training, organizing an after action debrief, is scheduled for Wednesday, October 29th, 2:30 to 3:30. You'll notice a lot of our meetings, most of our meetings with you all are going to be that Wednesday afternoon time. Training number 2 in January, emergency recovery plans. Training number 3, updates from the 2026 legislative session, April 8th, 2:30 to 3:30. These are all subject to change, a little caveat there. And then please know, we will be recording an onboarding training for any new specialists. So if you have any new specialists at your LEA this year, the School Safety Center, we will be recording an onboarding one as an introduction, some history, some background, some expectations. And we'll be sending that out after that October 15th date when we have the listserv ready to go. And we'll ask all new specialists to view that, hopefully sometime before our first training with them on October 29th. So like I mentioned, we will have an FY26 School Safety and Security Specialist Canvas course. It is in the process of being built. This is the homepage. Last year, it was for School Safety and Security Specialists. This year, we will be taking your email addresses from your designation form as directors, and we'll be adding directors in as observers. So you'll be able to see the course. You'll notice in the top left-hand corner of that screenshot there, you see home, you see modules, you see grades. Those are the 3 ways to navigate this course. Modules is going to be the best way to navigate all of the items and resources that are available. And this is what a quick snapshot of what this modules course will look like. You'll have all of the recordings for all of our trainings. Maybe if we do a town hall, maybe if we do another one-off training, we'll always give that recording and access to our specialists as well. A whole ton of resources that will be in that drop down. And then you see that training number 1 is already set up with their action items, organizing an after action debrief. They'll have a quick viewing confirmation exit ticket, and then an exit ticket on 5 questions. And they'll have to answer 4 out of those 5 questions to unlock the next follow-up task, which is a discussion board. Optional to participate, however, required to view the discussion question. And then you'll notice in the middle here where it says complete all items, they'll have to complete all of those follow-up items from training 1 in order to unlock the follow-up items for training 2, the same for training 3, and then finally all follow-up items will need to be completed before unlocking that evaluation form. They'll submit that evaluation form at the end, and then similar to last year, they'll automatically get their certificate of completion emailed to them. So again, you all will be added this year as observers. You'll be able to see the course content. You won't be able to take any of the quizzes or discussion boards, however, see what's going on. So we hope that is helpful for you this year. And please be on the lookout for those Canvas course invitation emails after that October 15th date. Rhett, I'm going to pass it over to you.
Thank you, Ashley. Hello, school safety friends. Rhett Larson, School Safety Center Coordinator for the Utah State Board of Education. And I want to share where we are in the process for procuring first aid kits, bleed control kits, and wearable panic alert devices. Earlier this year, the Utah School Security Task Force awarded funds for these items for the funding to pay for these items statewide. We are closing the loop on these procured items, and you will see communication coming out in the near future. What this will look like, and again, we will be purchasing these items with the funds that were allocated from the legislature for all the schools. And how you will request these items is through a Qualtrics form. After getting feedback, we will be providing individual forms for each of these items. So there will be a Qualtrics form to request first aid kits. There will be a Qualtrics form to request bleed control kits and a Qualtrics form to request wearable panic alert devices. As we gather this information, we will then share it with the contractor, who will then work with the LEAs on delivery of products, services, and training. So please be on the lookout for this communication from the School Safety Center. And we're excited that we are so close to getting these items purchased and out to you all. Next slide, please. All right, just a reminder, wanted to make everyone aware of this. In fiscal year 24, we had the $72 million grant that was made available through a competitive grant opportunity to enhance basic safety and security. These funds were awarded, and LEAs have through June 30th of 2026 to utilize those funds. That is just around the corner, and so we wanted to remind everyone of that time frame. Then with fiscal year 25, there was $48,700,000 that was made available through a competitive grant to enhance school safety and security initiatives. LEAs have through June 30th of 2027 to spend those funds. And so we just wanted to throw out there a friendly reminder for all of you as we're starting to get these questions as to the timing and how much longer you have to spend those funds. So if you still have projects and you still have money, make sure you are implementing those and getting those purchased and taken care of before the deadline. Next slide, please. All right, this is so important. Please make sure, if you are not already signed up for our School Safety Center newsletter, that you sign up for it. This is a place for you to get timely updates regarding applications, timelines, deadlines for procurement items. This is where we will also communicate where to access the forms. We will also utilize our listservs, but to stay up to date, please make sure you sign up for our newsletter. This newsletter, we continue to receive positive feedback that it's informative and a useful resource. And so, again, we encourage everyone here to be part of that and to subscribe. You can email our shared inbox to be added to our communication channel where we send our newsletter through. Just to highlight one of the recent things that we've put on the newsletter, in addition to updates to trainings that we have available or school safety topics, we also have provided an invitation that if schools would like to host the School Safety Center, where we could host our meetings there and have an opportunity to meet with faculty and staff after to address any questions and to have good communication and network and get to know each other more, there's that opportunity, and we extend that invitation to all of you. Regarding the newsletter, just so you're aware, we have all the directors' emails, and you will be automatically added to the newsletter. This is for people who want the information and who are not already added to our communication channel. So again, make sure you're signed up, and I will now pass it on. Thank you so much.
Hello, thank you, Rhett. I just wanted to take a minute, and I spoke this morning at the UFOMA conference.
Jeremy, we can't hear you.
I can hear you, Jer.
We're good. I spoke this
Yes.
morning at the UFOMA conference, and I just wanted to think back to 2019 when HB 120 was passed and the Utah School Safety Center was created. When you think about the legislation that has come in the years since, specifically 2023, 2024, and 2025, we have come a long way as a state. And when I am about ready to talk about the Utah School Safety Needs Assessment, we had the needs assessment requirement come out last year that all schools in the state of Utah were supposed to comply and submit their needs assessment by December 31st, 2024. 100% compliance came from that. And I think that everybody on this call, in your role as school safety and security directors, needs to be proud of that accomplishment. It is very difficult to get 100% compliance on anything that is mandated by the state. And with all of your support and all of your help, we were able to accomplish that. And that is a feat that I think everyone in the state of Utah involved in school safety should definitely be proud of. So I just wanted to take a minute and recognize that, and then also take a moment and reflect of how far we have come since the School Safety Center was created in 2019, the partnerships that have been forged, the collaboration that has taken place. It could not have been done without all of you. Please continue. We will continue the collaboration with the School Safety Center, the Division of State Security, our partners that we have through our office, the regional training specialists that are working directly with all of you as the school safety and security directors. We want to push that collaboration, that cooperation, because we are leading the nation, and it is something to be proud of. So as I kind of segue from there, the update for 2025 with the School Safety Needs Assessment is that the new requirement, rather than it being due every year on an annual basis on December 31st of each year, it is going to be every 3 years. Now, this is an important aspect, especially where we talk about October 15th of each applicable year is the due date. October 15th is coming really quick, and we don't have the statewide needs assessment ready for deployment yet. Every school in the state of Utah, because we were 100% compliant, it restarts that timeline. So those schools have that 3 years to conduct their needs assessment. It is understood that LEAs may, in cooperation with their county security chiefs, they may find the need to stagger those needs assessment. So for example, high schools being completed 1 year, middle schools the next, and then elementary schools the year after, or whatever variation is appropriate for your LEA. We understand that is happening, and so we are trying to get the needs assessment out as soon as possible. The Utah specific needs assessment is being put out by the Division of State Security, and we are hoping to have that piloted within the next couple weeks. Well, next few coming weeks. I shouldn't say couple, because that would definitely give us a timeline there. But we're wrapping it up. We're getting the questions finalized, and we're hoping to start piloting that in schools within the coming weeks. And so pay attention. Look forward to those. And if there are questions, concerns, anything stemming from those, please let the regional training specialists, myself, or Chief Pennington know on that. And those results will be used in consideration of any available grant funding in accordance with 53F-5-220. And so if we could skip ahead. Application for alternatives. The applications for alternatives still do exist, even with this new needs assessment and the ongoing requirement. These are going to be, the application for alternatives are going to be on an ongoing year-over-year basis. And so if we have approved an alternative for this current school year, that will have to be updated for the following school year. For those of you that have received letters, your letter should be good through this school year. Those that are still waiting or still need to fulfill or apply for an alternative, please get with me and we can give you the link on how to apply for those alternatives. Where we're not using the Qualtrics survey anymore, the application is actually done through a link that we are providing through our office. So some of the alternatives that we may consider are based off of population size, staffing needs or capacity, geographic location, general demonstration of need for an alternative. And typically when we're referring to these alternatives, the vast majority of these are for school safety and security specialist designations, armed personnel requirements specifically. We are looking at situations where there may be difficulty having a guardian, may be difficulty having contracts with SROs or armed security personnel. And so we are looking at any alternatives that are coming forth. If there are alternatives that can be considered, we are taking those under consideration and trying to work with the LEAs to make sure that we can get those alternatives approved. Utilizing defenses as we just don't have the funding to do the guardians, or we don't believe in the guardian program, those are not going to be accepted or approved, as that does not provide an alternative to be considered. Some of the predetermined exceptions are that if your enrollment size is fewer than 350, the school employee consideration may be a teacher or principal. Before HB 40 came out in this legislative session, it was 100. And so when we were looking at all of the alternatives that we were approving, there were schools that were in between 100 and 350. A lot of those were asking for those alternatives for the school employee to be considered a teacher or principal. And so fewer than 350, if you have a teacher or principal that has the desire to serve in a guardian, that's already a predetermined exception, and you do not need an alternative. If you're above 350 and you still have a principal or teacher, those would need to have those application for alternatives completed. The school safety and security specialist may also be the school guardian. That was a change that was made this year, so your school safety and security specialist could have that duplicate role. That would just be done with the notifying the state security chief and the school safety center for this upcoming year. That can be done in the school safety and security specialist designation form that Ashley already discussed, which is going to be due on October 15th. Next slide, please. And this is the other application for alternatives. This is one that I really we've had a lot of conversation on this, and it's in regards to adjacent campuses. And so we have schools that are very geographically close together. And so if those schools are within a quarter mile and are not separated by a physical barrier or major multi-lane roadway or divided highway that is both buildings are under the jurisdiction of the LEA, they can be considered what we call an adjacent campus. And that can mean that they can use the single SRO, armed security guard, or school guardian. The caveat there is that they have to remain there has to be radio communication equipment at both locations so that the individual can stay in radio communication between the campuses. There has been a concern from a couple LEAs where just in going to the identification of the guardian, that if they're carrying a radio, it automatically identifies them as the guardian. But as today's day and age and the world that we live in, radios are frequently used within the schools, and we don't feel that would identify the guardian any more than it would an assistant principal, or anybody else that would have those radios on campus. And also, one of the things, it is a predetermined exception. And this goes a lot to our charter schools. The school safety and security director may serve as a school safety and security specialist at one of the campuses. So, for example, if you have a single campus charter, the school safety and security director may be the school safety and security specialist. Or if you have a situation where you have a charter that exists across multiple counties, the school safety and security director may be the specialist at one of those as well. And so that is one of the things that individuals have applied for, they have applied for alternatives, but it is not necessary. So I wanted to clarify that. And then I will start answering any questions for me in the chat, but I will also turn the time over to Levi right now. Thank you.
All right, thanks, Jeremy. Hey, in our last board meeting, the board approved new updates to Rule R277400. The name has been updated to School Safety and Security. This rule has a 30-day period open to public comment before being finalized in around November. So these next few slides are subject to change before then. The rule added that all emergency response plans shall include a recovery piece to help facilitate needs after a crisis event. The 4 areas that were added are academics recovery, means resuming educational programming, teaching and learning after an emergency. Business services recovery means resuming operations that aid the provisions of teaching and learning and other essential services after an emergency. Health, well-being, and behavioral recovery means awareness of community resources to assist the school community after an emergency. And then physical and structural recovery means restoring buildings, equipment, and supplies You can guess it, after an emergency as well. So these definitions will be in board rule, and more training on recovery will also be provided by the team at our prepare workshops. So watch out for those. All right, next slide. Okay, the next item that was updated is the standard response protocol. So we still have hold, secure, lockdown, evacuate, and shelter. And then we have gone and added avoid, deny, defend, and aid protocols. So avoid is to avoid the danger if your situation becomes less safe, put distance between you and the threat. Deny access to where you are, create barriers between you and the threat, conceal yourself from view and be silent, defend yourself and others if necessary, and your life is in danger, overwhelm the threat, aid yourself or others who may be injured only when safe from the threat. If someone is bleeding, stop the bleeding with direct pressure on the wound. All right, next slide. Okay, the last item to discuss is the incident response method. So this is a standardized interior marking system using a 100-foot by 100-foot grid system. So this will help to decrease the response time to an emergency situation for emergency responders. So every layout will be the same in every building. So starting at your main entrance and then going to the far left corner of your building would be quadrant A1, and then moving towards your main entrance would be A2 after 100 feet, then 100 feet more, A3, so on. And then B1 would be right above where A1 is. And then if you have multiple floors, it would just be third floor A1, third floor B2. So on those, the interior rooms and hallways will be clearly marked with its assigned quadrant designation in a manner visible to building occupants and emergency responders. Do not worry about going out and starting to mark your buildings just yet. Further direction will come from Chief Pennington and the School Safety Center at a later time. And with that, I will pass it on to Michelle.
Hi, everyone. Thank you, Levi. So we have a lot of professional learning opportunities coming your way. This fall, we will be offering a one-day workshop for CSTAG, the Comprehensive School Threat Assessment Guidelines, as well as a Train the Coach. Just so you are aware, these workshops and the two-day Train the Coach are always on consecutive days, so you can plan for that. We will also be offering another session in winter of 2026. From the I Love You Guys Foundation, we have Standard Response Protocol on October 27th, 2025. We have a half-day SRP and Standard Reunification Method workshop, which will be virtual. Also, in person in Canyon School District, we'll be doing a reunification exercise on November 20th and 21st. And then in January 28th, we will have another Standard Response Protocol Train the Trainer at the Alpine Learning Center. Prepare Workshop 1 has been chosen as the curriculum for school safety and security directors by the state security chief, Matt Pennington. So we will be offering 5 different Prepare Workshop 1s across the state. So we have the first one coming up in a few weeks on October 9th. That will be in person in Nebo, and then a few other options in November, December, and then next year in May and June. So look out for those in your newsletters and listservs. We have an LEA School Safety and Security Director Information Session coming up on January 14th, as well as our 4th annual Utah School Safety Center Conference will be on Wednesday and Thursday, June 10th and 11th in 2026. So please save the date. And if you'd like us to host it at your school, please let us know because our location is still to be determined. I will now turn it over to Marie for resources.
Thank you. Yes, I'm happy to update you that we do have a number of resources that are available, and they are continually being updated and added to. As you get these slides, you'll be able to go right in here. We've hyperlinked everything. So you have the school safety playbook. You've got the planning guide for emergency preparedness. It also links directly to the School Safety Center webpage. There's the training request portal if there's a training specifically that you need to bring to your school. We also have the I Love You Guys Foundation page and the link to Safe UT. We also wanted to point out that the Critical Communications Toolkit has now been made available in 10 different languages. And so that's got templates for email and text and voice messages so that you can deliver clear, consistent, timely messaging to your staff, to your students, to your families, to your community. And really just helps make that messaging clear so that you can have that trust and that transparency. It also has hoax threats resources, firearm safety storage resources, medication safety storage resources. So just making sure that you are getting into that critical communications toolkit, as well as the other resources that are provided for you. And I think I'm passing it back to Melissa.
Yes, we're going to go ahead and do some question and answers. Let's see. Let's start with. Okay, so Michelle, this probably would be for you. Has anything changed with the prepare workshops? I participated in one a few years ago. Is this the same or something different?
These are all still the same. Yes.
Okay. And how often do people have to re-certify or retake a prepare class?
If you want to become a trainer, you have to have it done within the year that you are becoming a trainer. If not, then you don't have to recertify.
Okay, thank you. Ashley, I think that this is one that you talked about. As far as the prepare workshops being required for the school safety and security directors, how is that supposed to work for them? It says if so within each school year. Like, are they supposed to take it every school year as a director?
Yeah, absolutely. That is a great question. The Prepare One workshop is the curriculum chosen for directors specifically by Chief Pennington, the state security chief. So he would love to see all of our directors kind of adopting that same language, like alongside SRP of ICS, the Incident Command System. And that's what Prepare Workshop One really dives into, is that incident command system. So having all of our directors on the same page of what incident command looks like within their own schools, within their own LEAs. So it is the chosen curriculum for our directors here. There is no requirement for year-to-year trainings.
Thank you. When we're waiting for other questions to come in, there were a few about avoid, deny, and defend. So Levi, do you know like where they can find the written definitions of these, and also where they would be able to get training for this new requirement?
So definitions would be in board rule R277400 when that comes out, and then for training, they can utilize the training request portal and request that.
Okay. And then also, do you know if we have a question if the resources from the I Love You Guys will start to include avoid, deny, defend? Do you know the answer to that? And aid.
I'm not sure on that one. I would say no, since the I Love You Guys is a separate protocol system than the avoid, deny, defend. So,
I'll take that. I'll take that, Levi.
okay.
So the avoid, deny, defend is different language than a common other practice of run, hide, fight. The avoid, deny, defend, as well as the run, hide, fight nomenclature, which we are going away from, operates within certain protocols through the standard response protocol. And so the I Love You Guys Foundation recognizes that hold, secure are going to be different protocols. Lockdown is different. So the avoid, deny, defend operates within the lockdown aspect or the lockdown protocol of the SRP. And so it's not that they are separate, it is that they operate within the system. And so where there are different nomenclatures, different recognitions, John Michael Keyes and the I Love You Guys Foundation, they don't support one over the other. It is obviously, we have gone through the avoid, deny, defend because we see the benefit on that throughout from the state security chief. And so we find value in having that standardized, unified approach, and that is what the state security chief has determined. So to answer the question in short, no, it will not be part of the SRP, because the I Love You guys, when they come out and train, they don't necessarily tie into one specific. However, the Avoid, Deny, Defend operates within the lockdown, has a different set of training. It is the civilian response to active shooter training through the alert system, which is the Advanced Law Enforcement Rapid Response Tactics or training, and that is through Texas State University. So there is, and I can attach, or I can link the Avoid, Deny, Defend website. It does come through Texas State University, the Alert Center, but this is kind of where their resources are on that. And I'm going to put that in
Thank
chat
you.
to everyone right now.
Awesome. All right. The toolkit. Okay, we'll look into getting the toolkit link resent in the chat. I'll do that really quick. But there are no other questions in the Q&A, so I will turn it back over to Ashley. Thanks.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Melissa. Yes, we will try to get a separate link for you for that toolkit. But it is a wonderful thing that Director Coda worked on with a handful of different states. So it was a nationwide, multiple state collaboration and resources and best practices on communications. Brought it back here to Utah. Michelle Knight did a lot of great work on it, making it very Utah specific and made it public to share with the field. So please, if you have some time, spend time. There's a wonderful table of contents there for you to try to make your jobs as I don't know if easiest is the word here, but maybe as simple as possible in a state of an emergency or things like that, trying to give you as many hands-on resources as possible. I also see a few more questions that might be coming in the chat. The aid training is referring specifically to bleed control kits training that was mentioned in R2 77400. Jeremy, do you have any additional information on what that aid training expectation is from Chief Pennington?
So my understanding is that that's going to fall under when those bleed kits are delivered, the training is going to be provided. That's my understanding.
Awesome. Thank you.
Correct me if I'm wrong on that.
No, you're correct, Jeremy. And once we have the selected vendor and we share the information with the field, as the vendor works with LEAs on both the delivery of the products, they will also work with them on the training capacity and what that training will look like.
Awesome, thank you. And then we have another question about, I believe our surveys have been filled out. Is there a list showing which LEAs have completed them? Not an external facing list at this time. However, if you would like to double check on if your FY26 designation Qualtrics form has been completed and the status of your 26 SAST School Safety and Security Specialist Stipend Grant, you can email our inbox, school safety programs at schools.utah.gov, and we're happy to check on that status for you. Will it be Stop the Bleed training that the Guardians have been receiving? Jeremy, can you answer that, please?
So the Stop the Bleed training is going to be, so the training that is the Guardians have been receiving, that is kind of dependent upon what the county security chief decides for their area, if it is the Stop the Bleed or is another protocol. Chief Pennington released a baseline recommendation or a baseline curriculum for combat casualty care. And so if the county security chief has determined that Stop the Bleed is what they're going with in that area, then that is that. But it's not necessarily, that is not a requirement for the Guardians throughout the state, because Stop the Bleed is kind of like Avoid, Deny, Defend. It is one aspect or one platform for the same type of training. There's also TCCC, which has been utilized in the military for a number of years, utilized in law enforcement. And so there are different mechanisms or different types of training for bleed control techniques. And so when we're going back to that standardized, what's going to happen with the bleed kits when they come out, that is going to be dependent upon the vendors that are putting that out.
Awesome, thank you. One last question for you. Where are the Guardians in Salt Lake County receiving training? they're looking for some more direction on school guardian training in the Salt Lake County area.
Well, that is a complicated question. That is being conducted with Salt Lake County Sheriff's Office. And so that is through County Security Chief Van Emmerich, but also they're depending upon, and so I'm sorry, Kelly, without knowing exactly what district you're from, there are some other circumstances within Salt Lake County that are being utilized for training. And that is district specific, if you will. And so if you could shoot me an email, we can probably get a little more direction on that. And I can connect you with the county security chief so we can get you some follow-up on there.
Awesome. Thank you. As our questions come to a close, it looks like we are giving you some time back. I love that. Thank you so much for your time and your efforts and your dedication to school safety and keeping our schools and students and staff stay safe. If you have any questions for us regarding any things that we talked about today, again, feel free to email that inbox that Levi have put in the chat for you. And then the recording of this will be available and posted on our website within a week. Once it's ready, we'll post it as soon as possible. Rhett, I will turn it back to you for our closing thoughts.
Thank you, Ashley. And just again, to all of you school safety and security directors, please reach out if you need any assistance, if you have any questions. We will continue to meet with school safety and security specialists through our webinars that was already mentioned earlier in this training. We look forward to our ongoing partnership as we continue to do all that we can to keep our kids safe in the state of Utah. Within school safety in Utah, we've come a long ways. We have a long ways to go. We continue to learn with and from other states. And as a school safety center, we are dedicated to working with everyone and anyone to ensure that we are bringing the best practices that we can, and look forward again to our ongoing collaboration in the space of school safety, and wish you the very best rest of your day. So thank you very much.